All right. So random sampling. So random samples. A random sample is basically a sample that's obtained in such a way that every element in the population has an equal chance of being selected for the sample. Now, in random sampling, each element in the population must be identified and assigned a number. Now, the numbers are generally assigned in order. So the way to sample from the larger numbered population is to generate random numbers using a computer or a calculator. So each numbered element from the population that corresponds to one of the generated random numbers is the one that's selected for the sample. Now, surveys and polls involve data from a sample of some population. Now, regardless of the sampling technique used, the sample should exhibit characteristics typical of those possessed by the target population. So, this type of sample is called a representative sample. So, maybe you want to choose all the people who go to a bar on a Friday night or something. So, you're going to sample the people that are at that bar. You're not going to sample the people that are at the church. So you have to have a representative sample to do that properly. Whereas the random sample, you really has to be random as far as who you're selecting. All right. So checkpoint two, the first problem we looked at is what this one's going to refer back to. Explain why the sampling technique described in checkpoint 1B, which is what I have written down here, is not a random sample. Then describe an appropriate way to select a random sample of the city's homeless. Well, it's not as random because those who go to the shelter are only the ones going to be included. So the ones that don't go to the shelter or they lock the door and say, okay, we're full, we can't have any more in, those aren't going to be selected. So first off, we're going to say it's not a random sample. Only those in the shelter will be included. Okay. So that's kind of a key there. All right. So next, all right. So with what would we do to make it a random sample? What I would say is we need to go and look at all the different areas where the population is for homeless people. So maybe there's only 3 areas where there really is homeless, and we need to go to each of those areas and then take a sample, a random sample of each of those areas to get the total random sample from around the whole city. So maybe we need to write that as need to go to all areas where there are homeless people, and then randomly select people from each area. Okay. So I think that would be kind of the best way to go about this one as far as how to explain it and also write it with not writing a huge amount of detail as far as how you're going to do that. So let's stop there and we'll come back for another one.